I played my first Flesh and Blood calling. And actually, it was not my first Flesh and Blood calling, but it was the first one that I really played in because all of the other callings that I attended before, I was really there to see the other players competing in the tournament and then afterwards make videos with them. And this time in the calling Prague, I decided, you know what, it's time that I will play my first calling because it was a limited calling. It was the first time actually that you could play the new set, The Hunted. And I was like, that's the perfect choice for me because in the last season with Rosetta, I really got to know the draft experience much more and actually discovered that, you know what, limited in general, draft specifically, is like my favorite thing to play in Flesh and Blood. And so I wanted to know how that experience transfers over to limited and especially in the calling experience because it is very different if you play on the casual on the casual level at an armory, because I consider myself like a casual player. I also like to compete a little bit, but I'm more on the casual side. And so I wanted to see like what that experience does in the calling. I was traveling there with my local friends from Bielefeld. And so it was a really fun trip, but it was also my first experience, not only with the hunted, but actually playing in the calling. And we will definitely go into detail about this. Like, what were really the, hurdles that I needed to go over to compete in the calling, what really happened in my matches, and what I learned along the way. Because I have to say, on Friday in the World Premiere, on Saturday in the calling, and then on Sunday in the Battle Hardened, spoiler, I didn't made it to day 2 of the calling, not surprisingly for me, but I learned a lot. And honestly, I learned so much. I'm very much looking forward to the pre-release weekend this week, where we'll play 2 pre-releases actually for the Hunted, and then to the Hunted draft season, which I really want to dive into because the Hunted, I have to say, is such an amazing set to play in sealed, and I think it is an amazing set to also draft. I didn't draft it myself, but of course I watched some games in the calling day 2 where also some of my friends were playing, and then of course Simon Nielsen took the crown for the Prague calling champion. Congratulations to you, Simon. But now let's talk about my experience actually as the first time experience and the casual player in the calling. And I have to say, I gathered a little bit of experience on Friday, of course, in the World Premiere and then also in a side event for the Unmovable promo. And I have to say, it went quite good for me. And I want to show you what really, was getting my eye on in the World Premiere because I went 3-1 in the World Premiere and I was so happy about it because I thought, you know what, it really paid off to learn how to play draft in Rosetta, how to build a deck. And I also love Fang. I really discovered him basically on the tournament, how he will really play out. And I saw the cards and I was like, that's perfect. Like, as you can see in the background with the Tomultai, I'm a huge Draconic fan. And so I was happy to discover Fang for me. And let's actually look at a few cards here that I got to play on Friday in the World Premiere because I got quite a few attack reactions actually, and a lot of them were Draconic. I got 2 Scar Tissue, the non-Draconic attack reaction, which is, I think, one of the best attack reactions that you could open up. But then I also got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Draconic attack reactions, which is quite good, I have to say, even though I discovered that on Friday playing a lot of these like 1-cost Draconic attack reactions, specifically the ones that is called Brothers of Flame, that can only be played on the second Draconic chain link, or only if you control 2 or more Draconic chain links. It was a little bit clunky for me, so I decided to side one of those out during the games, but overall was really happy with my pool. And like I said, I got 3-1, and the 1 was not a loss, but a draw actually, and that was my first game. And then also I got these 2 Draconic instances, and I have to say these are so amazing. And the drop of Dragon Blood was such a banger. I have to say I didn't open it up sadly in the calling and also not in the Battle Hardened, but in the World Premiere it really paid off. It was such an amazing card. And Tooth of the Dragon 2, I opened it up. Also again, you will see it later in the calling. I'm not sure, but I definitely opened it up again. And yeah, those were amazing. I also got to have 5 pumps that pump my dagger attacks for +4. So those were definitely a winner. And I also opened up Sigil of Solace. I have to say, Sigil of Solace, in my opinion, one of the best cards to pull in Limited. Here for the Hunted, but I also had some more defensive cards, these 3 defense reactions. And I wasn't really considering the defense reactions actually on Friday for my sideboard. And that was something that I learned. Shout out to Tom Tydex, who teach me that on Friday, because he was really telling me, like, you know what, Alex, when you're playing tomorrow in the calling, you really should build your deck so you have a sideboard in the beginning, and also sleeve those cards so you can quickly switch those cards in when you are in between rounds or you are facing an opponent and you know you need some defense reactions. So I definitely learned that on Friday, and I took that experience with me in the calling and definitely paid off. But I also had these 3 draconic attack actions on Friday in the world premiere. Blaze Headlong, which I really love to see as a reprint. For the Drakai, which, is such an amazing card for Fang, to be honest. And Hunty Hunter, such amazing. These draconic attack actions can really, really win you some games. And Blaze Headlong specifically, if you have the option to go on a really wide chain, which I managed to do in the Battle Hardened. Honestly, I got to play Fire and Brimstone, and I had a Fire and Brimstone turn with Blaze Headlong, and that was basically game. But let's talk about how many blues I played on the world premiere on Friday. And it was actually 8 blues only, because I had 2 yellows actually in my deck that I don't have any longer because I already sold them. Those were 2 Majestics. The one that gives the one Warrior Aura that gives +1 to your daggers that turn, and also the one that gives +3 to your dagger if you played an attack action. And I didn't really like those cards, but even though I didn't really like those cards, I had a great result. But talking about the equipment, what I learned on Friday was actually not looking at starting point, and it was a big mistake on my side. I didn't play starting point on Friday. I didn't look at starting point on Saturday in the calling. I only looked at starting point really on Sunday, and that was a big mistake, as you can see when looking up the top 8 matches from the calling, because that is such an amazing card. Starting point is so powerful, and I really wished I would have looked at this card specifically on Friday a lot earlier. So rather, the equipments that I choose to play was 2 Red Alert equipments and 2 Vengeance equipments, which was good, don't get me wrong. Having these equipments is nice, but I definitely wished I would have found the power of starting point sooner. So let me jump back actually to the other view, and let me tell you, like, on Saturday I was so nervous. Like, I can remember on Friday playing the sealed event, and then it was already like 30, how do you call it in English, 9:30 in the evening. And I was like, you know what, it's time to go home after this sealed event and actually get some sleep. And you know what? The pros that are actually with their teams at the event don't do that. They don't play the sealed event, or they play the sealed event, but then plan for the calling afterwards. And the teams that I have talked to and the pros that I know from my past Flesh and Blood years, I have to say, they got the packs from the sealed event, they got home, they opened up the packs, and then they crafted a strategy for the calling on Saturday, of course. And for those pros that I talked to, it really paid off, honestly. I think the Dutch team, even all of them got to day 2, which I really wished I got to day 2 too, but as I already told you, I didn't make it to day 2, but I got a 33 record in the calling, which I'm really happy with, because honestly, talking to my friends from Bielefeld beforehand, I said, you know what, I would really love to get to day 2, but I think it's honestly not really in my range of experience, and so rather I'm happy if I just win 1 game, and that's it. And I'm really happy I got to win 3 games, and I even decided to, you know what, I'm at X2 after 5 rounds. I try and win the next 3 rounds, but sadly I lost my 6th game. So it was over for me, and I rather played another sealed event afterwards. But it was, let me tell you, at a first experience, so amazing to learn all of the basics. Because like I said, on Friday, I was getting the first look at the hunted. I was learning Fang, and I committed actually to take that advantage that I could gather on Friday, the experience that I had on Fang and with the sealed pool, and take it on the calling. And I thought, like, you know what, I think on 80% I will play Fang because I know at least how to play him a little bit from Friday. I looked at Ninja and Arachne too, and I thought, like, my Ninja pool looks kind of decent. I don't have a clue about Arachne, but I was going with Fang, and I think it was the right choice for me in the calling. But honestly, all of the basics, like how to build a sideboard, that I learned from Tom Tydex. He also, showed me a little bit more on how to really block with the equipment. Don't just throw it in the beginning. Really just take it when you really are on the edge, when you really need to throw it in. So block with it. And then also, like, which cards to keep, which cards to block with. We talked a lot about that a little bit. So I'm really happy I got to learn it before the calling, but there were so many things still that I learned in the calling that are on the basic level. So I'm really happy I took the chance and played in the calling, got to meet so many new amazing people, and then also get to know the competitive environment a little bit more, because it is so different playing in the armory level or at the side event level, and then go to the calling or even the battle hardened, because in those there are so many new rules to learn, so many environmental things to keep track of, like sitting down, being quiet while doing things, how to really craft the deck in the time, don't be on the pressure too much, and then also sort the cards quickly enough also for your opponent, because in the calling you open up your packs and you give them to the person in front of you, and he really writes down all of the cards for you, sorts them, and you do it for the person in front of you, and then you really get them back and you need to check everything. And I saw some people who were really having trouble with that, and I can understand that. It's even at a first experience level, it's like, whew, there's just so many things, and it can be so nerve-wracking. But I really loved it, I have to say. I was so nervous too, even waking up on Saturday, and I was so pumped. I was like, yeah, let's go to that event and crush it. But I was so nervous. It was so many new things. But I have to say, I really like doing it the calling way, because I'm also really liking to organize my life a lot. And so organizing on a sheet with all of the cards really helped me to like get to know the different class cards and how to sort the cards. And I was fastly getting a system for me, so I could really fast just write down all of the cards, see what kind of options you have. And then when I got my sheet back from the person in front of me, I was really having a look, and I was like, man, it's so much easier now for me to build my deck, actually, because I have that overview rather than just looking through my card pile in a sealed event. And so, in a side event. And so I was really happy to getting to know all of that. And so let's actually look at what then happened in my game. So I'm switching the view again for you. And so we can look at actually some of the cards that I had. And I also want to show you like what I discovered for me to be really important is that having enough sleeves, of course, sleeving up the sideboard, and also sleeving up like your equipment and stuff like that, so I can quickly find it in my graveyard afterwards. Also having your deck box, actually, and I had this deck box with me, a double tray deck box with, of course, a dice, separate dice tray in it. And I thought this is the perfect deck box for me for the limited event, because in one of the trays, I could then just have my deck. For example, if you can see here, this is my battle hardened deck that I still have in it with my notes from the life points. And in the other tray, you can then just have the rest of your cards. And it's separated that way. So I can only just really focus on getting the right tray out, having my deck there, and then sideboard. And then also in the dice compartment, of course, having enough dice. I really like to use these attack dice, so I can just quickly show the information on the chain. Also, of course, having this lovely Sunflower Samurai resource die, and then also having my fealty and mark tokens in there so I can quickly access them. And of course, guys, for the fresh airwaves strong chewing gum, because you know what, after some games you can really smell a little bit, so I would like to have that in my dice tray. But let me know how you do it. I would really like to get your view on this. But let's look at actually some of the cards I open up and how it went from there. Like I said, we already talked about starting point, and I wished I have read this card the right way in the calling too, but I didn't. So I even pulled it, but I said, you know what, I don't use it. Then I had also considered outed. But I wasn't really confident on that card. I didn't play it. I think it was the right call. And then I also didn't play exposed, actually. Also a 0 block card, a blue attack reaction that but marks your opponent. I didn't play that one, but I considered it, but I didn't use it. So I just set it aside. And I have to say, when we are looking at the deck now that I decided to go with and the games that I played here, I lost a lot of die rolls, but even though losing my first die roll, I went first and I played against Adam here. I think he was on Fang too. I forgot to write down that information here, but I managed to take him down even though I went first. And I think, my experience just from the first day really came in there because I knew kind of how to play my alliance and I got the right cards. Honestly, I played like 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 blues here, and I went with that. I have some more blues in my sideboard, but I'm not really sure how many other blues I sided in because I didn't write it down, but I had like 4 D-reacts actually in my sideboard and sound the alarm too, but I don't remember if I played 1 blue more or not. But yeah, that was basically the core build, like around 9 blues. And then I also had 4 draconic attacks alongside Blaze Headlong, and for the Drakai, Hunt the Hunter, and March of Loyalty. March of Loyalty was a new card for me. I played it, but I don't think it's that great. But I decided to go with it, and I don't really remember how many times I actually played March of Loyalty, but I think it's a good blocking card, you know? It blocks for 3, so it's not that bad. But yeah, the more important cards of the decks are actually coming now, because I also pulled Tooth of the Dragon, the Draconic Instant. I didn't, as I said, draw the Blood of the Dragon again, but I actually got a Pledge Fealty, and I think that's one of the best cards actually to get in Fang. Even seeing multiple of these, I wouldn't really be that unhappy about, but these were definitely coming in very nice. Then I had 2, 4, 5 Draconic 0 cost attack reactions, and I have to say I pulled 2 Sisters of Fire. As I said before, this is a card that you can play only on the chain link if you control 2 or more Draconic chain links, and I don't really like that, to be honest, that much. It's a good card, it blocks for 3, but sometimes it's a little bit clunky. And then I had 2 Scar Tissue again, a really nice card, love to open it up, and it definitely draw me to Fang. And then I also had the red To The Point, which is a rare. It buffs your dagger +3, but if you're defending heroes marked, it buffs for 4. So I thought that's really good. It didn't really come up that much, but I thought, you know what, it's nice to have. Then I opened up 2 actually pretty good cards. Razor Reflex, also another reprint. I didn't know it was in there on Friday, but I pulled it on Saturday and I was like, what in the freaking world? There's so many good reprints for limited here. And Razor Reflex also won me a game, as we will see soon here with the tournament notes. And then I opened up Jagged Edge, and I knew that my friends were telling me Jagged Edge is such an amazing card for Warrior, so I of course included it in my deck. It also won me a game, but in one game I specifically remember I wrote it down. Jagged Edge wasn't really that good because it costs 1, and honestly in limited, the Hunted, there are not really that many prevention effects. There are some, I think 2 are there, right? Or 1, I don't really I'm not 100% sure. But so it's basically a 1 for +3 as an attack reaction. It's also not draconic. It blocks 3, which is nice. But yeah, I'm happy I didn't side it out, honestly. But then I had also some pumps. I had Sword Vengeance. I didn't really have that many +4 pumps as an action here. I only had Twist and Turn once. I had 2 point of engagement though, which are really nice because they give all of your attacks +1 while the opponent is marked. And it was actually pretty relevant because your opponent really don't want to get you that +1 all of the time. So he is rather wanting to block out a little bit. So yeah, I already told you I got that sideboard defensive cards here like Tom told me to do, and it was really good because sometimes you don't really have that much time to side in your cards. So I was really happy that I could just then smash my defense reactions in, and when we go through the tournament notes soon, you will see how it worked out for me. But I also had a Stabbing Pain still. It's a 1-cost Draconic Warrior attack reaction which blocks 2. Target dagger attacks gets +3, and if you control 2 or more Draconic Chainlinks, it gets, when this hits a hero, mark them. And I sided that out because I didn't really want to see that many 1-cost cards because I bricked sometimes, and it really lost me some games, as we will see soon. But yeah, I had that card available and also played it. Then in the end here are also some cards that I considered playing or that I even played but then sided out, just like a Rake Over the Coals, a rare Draconic Instant, blocks 0 of course, and gives all of your Draconics attack this turn +1. It's nice because of course it turns on your daggers, the Obsidian Fire Vein, but I played it and it wasn't really that great, so I decided to, yeah, take that out of the deck. And yeah, the other ones, I think honestly, like Tip Off is a card that I will mention later when we come to the tournament notes, but I played Tip Off as a blue and it lost me a game, and we will come to that, why I lost that game specifically. But now you have an overview of actually what kind of cards I played. The equipment, like I said, I wish I looked at those boots, but I had 3 Alert Visor equipments that I could play, and then also along that 3 Vengeance equipment. So that is nice, of course, for the blocking value. Not so great if you can't really block the right way, which is sometimes difficult, of course, with the red alert equipments when your opponent don't place a reaction but rather an instant to give his dagger go again. But yeah, that's my pool. So now you have an overview, and let's actually talk about what happened then. Like I said, my game 1, I won that one. I lost the Dyro, I went first, but I still managed to take that first game, which I was really happy about. My second game, I lost the die roll again. I went first again, and I had sided in 3 D reactions, which, yeah, I was happy about. But honestly, after the game, I lost that one. My opponent Massimo had 1 life point left, and I was like, you know what? Maybe if I had 1 more reaction instead of an D react here, I could have maybe pushed a little bit more damage. And so I was thinking about how many D reacts I really need, and I wanted to try out maybe a little bit more D reacts actually. That was my conclusion after that game, even though I thought, you know what, maybe I needed a little bit more damage. I wanted to go for another strategy and try out actually more D reacts in my third game. I lost that game as well. I lost the die roll again. I went first. I had actually an amazing start, even though I had those D reacts in. I only had 8 blues in. I noted that after the game because we didn't really have that much time to side, and I was mixing up in the sideboard, and after the game I looked at my deck and I was like, I only have 8 blues in here. That sucks actually. And yeah, one hand actually lost me the game because I had no blues in it after making 16 damage. And I was like, I have the tempo now. I need to draw a 3 red, 1 blue, or a 2 blue, 2 red card hand. And I draw a 4 red hand. And again, Michael, which I played against, was on 1 life, and I didn't manage to take that game. But then I knew, you know what? I'm at 1-2 now. I need to come back, right? I'm not giving up here my 4th game. And because I sided in 4D reacts plus the alarm card, the one card that searches you, your D reacts from the deck. I sided that one in my 3rd game, and it wasn't really that amazing. So I managed to sideboard, a lot better in my 4th game. And I managed to play 9 blues and 1 yellow in there. And I didn't really wanted to play 4D reacts. And I won that game against Josep. I had 4 life left in the end. I won the die roll. I went second. I saw 0 D reacts actually, even though playing the alarm and 3 D reacts. And I played jacked edge, but it wasn't really that good. Like I said, I noted down maybe I should take it out, but I'm happy I didn't took it out, because in my was it this one? No, it was this one actually. Yeah. I played. No. Sorry. It was my last game. Actually, we are coming to that. So the 4th game, I noted down jacked edge is meh because it costs 1 and only buffs +3. But in my 5th game, I only sided in 1 D react. I played against Jan Vincent, and I had only 1 life left, so it was again a really, really close game. I lost the die roll. I got first. I marked my opponent in the first in turn 0, and I arsenaled a D react, which was really amazing because it was my only D react. I think Jan Vincent played the ninja. I'm not really getting the name. Sorry, guys. Syndra, right? And I think the D react to play there is Smokeout, of course. I arsenaled that card, so it was perfect turn 0 for me. And I won that game because I had 3 attack reactions on 1 dagger, which won me the game in the end. I got him down to 0 from 5 life here. So it was really worth it for me to go down from 5 life to 1 life and then take the tempo. And it came now, I was 3-2. It was the 5th game, you know, and then the 6th game came. And I played against Alex here. And I won the die roll. I was going second. And I think I played jacked edge and razor reflex again on him on 1 turn, which got him down to 3, I think. I don't really remember 100%, but I think it was that play that got him down from 7 to 3. And as I said to you, 1 card really lost me a game, and it was this one. And it was a card called Tip Off, which I had an amazing, an amazing experience playing in my first 5 rounds, because you can Tip Off is a generic that costs 1, attacks for 3 in the blue version, only blocks 2, but it has an instant effect, so you can discard it and mark your opponent. So marking your opponent is an instant effect, and I thought that's pretty nice. On turn 0, of course, that's really great, but you can also throw that in when you really want to get an on-hit off for a dagger attack, for example, when you want to get that fealty token. And I thought I had a fealty token on board. I was having the tempo in the game after playing the 2 attack reactions, and I thought, you know what? Alex is attacking me here. I have that card, fealty, on the board, the token that can make the next card that you play draconic as an instant. And I didn't have 2 draconic reactions in my hand, but I had Tip Off, 2 reactions, and a blue. And I was pretty confident because I think I also had an arsenal. And I took damage that turn to play out my line and get more tempo. I attacked with the dagger. Where is it? Attack with the digger. And so I wanted to play Tip Off as an instant and make it draconic with fealty. All of you who know that interaction doesn't work are shaking your heads now, but I wasn't aware of it. I learned that in the game, and it lost me the game because, of course, playing the instant, so activating the instant effect of tip-off is not counting as playing a card. So tip-off doesn't really gets off as a draconic card, and so the Obsidian Fire Vein doesn't get go again. So I needed to play, yeah, a less good turn, and rather I would have blocked with the hand instead in my last turn against Alex. But yeah, that basically lost me the game. Anyways, Alex is the better player, of course, here, and deserves to take that win. And I'm happy to making that experience because now I'm aware of it for my next tournament. And it felt a little bad, honestly, to lose to something that you just don't know how it works, because it was so close. I was at X2 and maybe I would have won the next 2 games. We will never know, but maybe I'm playing another limited calling in the future and then I try again, but I will definitely play more the hunted in the future and draft for sure. Even limited, I think. Sealed is such an amazing experience, and there are so many close games, as you saw from my tournament report, and I took the chance and played the Battle Hardened on Sunday. And was so tough. I have mad respect for all the players that are playing so many events at the weekend, even the players that make it to day 2 and then make it to the top 8 and then have the concentration power like Simon to win an event like that. It's mad. Like I think it's so tough. I talked to a lot of the players on the weekend, and you really have to train for that. So it's not a walk in the park, to be honest. And yeah, that's my experience, honestly. I would have so many more things to tell you, but I think I'm 30 minutes in the video, and that's it for me now. I will make maybe one more video about the event. Let me know in the comments if you want to hear more about it. Yeah. Oh, my Battle Hardened. That was bad. I got 2-6 actually at that event. I was so bad at the Battle Hardened, but it was nice to play the Battle Hardened too and make another experience there. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and we see us in the next video.